Hey guys, so we're starting out today by using a very pale foundation. This one's by Revlon and I like it just because it's super pale. And I'm applying this all over my face and down my neck and shoulders. I have one of my eyes kind of done. I'm using my Inglot number 77 gel liner. And this is just a cream eyeshadow brush by Sigma. And I'm just using the sort of flat end to map out a line in the shape I want to create. And as you can see, I'm just kind of like sloping up with my eyebrow, curving, going straight down the side of my eye. You'll kind of see what I'm doing here. So I'm doing the outline with the gel eyeliner, and it's okay, you'll experience some anxiety, but we will get through this together. So mapping out the shape, and then I will start to fill it in once I have it down. Now for me, I did it as close as I possibly could to the other eye, and then I definitely had to go kind of back and forth a couple times to make them look identical. Now, this is me filling in the outline with the same gel eyeliner. Try and keep the product as thin as you possibly can, but you want it to be opaque. Now I'm taking a black eyeshadow. This one in particular is by MAC. It's Carbon black eyeshadow. You don't need to use a MAC shadow. You don't need anything crazy. It just needs to be matte. And now I'm taking my Mayron Paradise Paint Palette. This is just the white color, and I didn't really have anything in mind before I started this. I had an inspo pic, which I will link down below. The Instagram artist is awesome, but I wanted to sort of do my own interpretation on it. So I'm just sort of taking the white paint and painting a design around my eyes, which you will kind of see mapped out as I do it. And I am going to make this less bright with an eyeshadow over it, so it is going to look very stark and face paint like at first. And the brush I'm using here is by Graftobian, and I'm not exactly sure of the actual name, but I will find it and link it down below for you guys if you're interested. But you could absolutely use any craft store brush if you wanted. Oh, it's the number 10 flat brush. And I'm just doing this little upside down triangle design up here. And do your Cupid's bow and put some on your chin. I just really wanted to make my face look like it's a completely different shape, which right now I just look like, you know, a burglar or something, but it'll get better. This is definitely like a lot of Halloween looks, a look that doesn't look very good until you're close to done. And now I'm just taking another MAC eyeshadow. It's Blanc Type. It's like a bone color, like a soft white, and this is going to make those white areas not so stark white. Any cream eyeshadow will work. Obviously try and choose something that's matte. The cream color from the Lorac Pro palettes, I think all of them have the cream color. You could use any drugstore one that you can find. Just try and make this color a little bit less white. And I didn't like how this area here was so, I don't know, such a blunt line, so I just take my finger and soften that up. Now I'm using my Anastasia contour kit. I'm taking the shade Fawn, and I'm just using a short shader brush by Sigma and carving out along all of the white lines. You'll see I'm concentrating the color more heavily right at that line, and then just using the brush to flick the powder outwards so it sort of blends out. Now I'm not trying to be super perfect with this. I definitely wanted to give you guys a realistic look of what you can do pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying? I want to make Halloween tutorials that you guys can follow and actually recreate, if that makes sense. Now, as you can see here, I'm doing this to every single white line. And I'm also kind of softening that line a little bit with my brush, just because the edge where you paint it can sometimes be a little bit heavy. I feel like at this point I just look like some sort of a warrior. And here especially you can see me softening that line. And I'm shading under my chin. My chin, that's my lip. Ugh, get a grip. It's early and I haven't had coffee. And now I'm taking Typographic. It's a black eyeshadow by MAC, but it's a little bit like a softer black. It's not as black as Carbon. And I'm just adding this into some areas to give a little bit of an extra shading effect, just to create a little bit more dimension. And I'm definitely concentrating this color on areas that are underneath the white lines, if that makes sense. Just thinking about it, if the sun or whatever star was shining light on whatever planet I come from would most likely be above me, so the shadows would be underneath the parts that are standing out on my face, if that makes sense. Oh, I just keep talking and I'm moving on to the next part. I'm taking the Paradise paint again, the white one, and I'm just using an eyeliner brush by Sigma and painting some veins. And I wanted them to look like they're coming sort of out of the back of my head and up my neck. Now I'm adding a little bit of the red Paradise paint underneath some of the veins. I'm just kind of doing this randomly. There's no real rhyme or reason to this step. Now I'm taking Soft Brown by MAC and I'm going to shade all around those white veins. I want there to be a shadow around them just because I want them to look like they're kind of standing out from my skin, not that they're underneath it. I want them to look like they're sort of bulging out. And like I said before, I'm not being super precise with this. I'm not even blending this out like extremely well. I'm just throwing this on, and if you were curious, I'm just using a Sigma pencil brush for this. And now I'm adding a little bit more of the Typographic eyeshadow with the same pencil brush, just in random spots again. I am making sure to apply this color only underneath the veins, and if there ever are any like Y intersections like you see here, then I shaded that sort of intersection on the inside. But you definitely don't need to make your veins in the same exact spot as I have mine here. When you're doing this yourself, just do whatever you feel. Now I'm taking Blanc Type again and I'm going over those veins. I just want to kind of blend them out a little bit and soften them up and make that white not so harsh like I did with the other white areas. Now I'm applying the highlights to my eyes, sort of like the reflection, if you will, like you have in like your sunglasses or whatnot. Whoa, I'm rambling, sorry. I'm just using my white Paradise paint for this. Creepy. And now I'm lining my lips with my MAC lip liner in Night Moth. I love this one. It's just a very, very dark, dark purple. Anything that you have will work just fine. Now I'm filling them in with my Milani Color Statement lipstick in Chocolate Berries. This almost has a little bit of a sheen to it, so it looks very cool and sort of futuristic. And now I'm doing my neck to complete the costume. And depending on what you're wearing, you may or may not need to do this. You may just need to do like the upper part of your neck. But what I'm doing here is I'm taking that same flat Graftobian brush, well now I'm using a thinner one now, and creating some larger veins down towards the bottom of my chest and slowly making them thinner as I get closer to my face. And as you can see, I'm sort of connecting some of the ones that were on my face already to the ones coming up from my neck. It almost reminded me sort of like a tree, like a scary oak tree. So yeah, definitely just do whatever you feel like doing here. And like I did before, adding some of the red Paradise paint wherever I feel. And I'm just using a bigger angled blending brush from Sigma to throw down some of that soft brown color just around the veins like I did on my face. And here I'm adding some of that typographic shadow just in random spots underneath the veins, well except there, just to add even more dimension. And I thought that white looked kind of flat, especially where the veins were thicker, so I just took some of that fawn color from my contour kit. You could use soft brown as well, and I'm just shading the outer areas of the thicker veins to make them look more rounded. So just along the edges, I'm adding some of the deeper brown. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching. This should be your final result. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos. I love you, and I'll see you next time. What I was going to do with my eyebrows. In all reality, I